All right, let's talk about it. That one toddler milestone that can make parents feel both excited and, let's be honest, completely terrified. Yep, we're diving into potty training.
And if this quote feels just a little too familiar, you are definitely not alone. This is a real post from a parent, right in the trenches. And it just nails that feeling, right? That intense pressure, because this is such a huge deal and it can feel like absolutely everything is riding on it. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this epic battle. We're going to cut through all the noise and conflicting advice to give you a really clear game plan, one that's built on expert advice and real-world experience, so we can make this whole journey, well, a lot less messy.
Okay, so where do we even start? With the single most important factor for success: readiness. And honestly, here's the big secret. It's not about their age. It has almost nothing to do with the calendar. It's all about the signs they're showing you. Yeah, you'll hear that number thrown around. The average age is about 27 months. But you know what? That's just an average. It is not a deadline. Pushing a kid before they're actually ready, well, that's pretty much the fastest way to frustration for everyone involved. So the real key here, just ignore the calendar. Watch your kid instead. So what are we actually looking for? It basically boils down to three main things. First, there's the physical stuff. Can they walk? Can they pull their own pants up and down? Then you've got the cognitive piece. Are they starting to get curious about the toilet? Can they follow a simple instruction? And finally, and this is the big one, the emotional part. This one usually comes last, but man, it's powerful. It's when they actually want to do it. They want to be a big kid and say goodbye to diapers. But which of these signs is the most important? Okay, check this out. Research from Global Pediatric Health found something fascinating. The number one best sign that they're ready? It's when they actually tell you, I have to go potty. And you know what's way less important than we all thought? Staying dry after a nap. For generations, parents thought that was the golden ticket. But the data shows it's just not as big of a deal as those other signs, like them wanting to do things all by themselves.
All right, so once you're seeing those signs of readiness, it's game time. You've got to pick a plan. And let me just say this up front, there's no one-size-fits-all best method. The whole point is to find what works for your kid and your family.
Okay, method number one is the child-led approach. This is the one the American Academy of Pediatrics really likes. Your job here is to basically be a supportive guide. Think of yourself as the tour guide, not the drill sergeant. You put the potty out, you talk about it, but you let your child's own curiosity lead the way. The upside? Usually a lot less fighting. The downside? You gotta be patient, because this one can definitely take longer. Next up, the parent-led or scheduled method. If you're someone who loves a good routine, this one might be for you. You're the one in charge of the clock, taking your kid to the potty every 2 hours, or whatever interval you set. The huge plus here is consistency. It's super easy for you, a grandparent, or a daycare to all be on the same page. The trade-off, though, is that it can take the child a little longer to learn to listen to their own body's signals. And of course, we have to talk about the famous, or maybe infamous, 3-day method. This one is, well, it's intense. It's exactly what it sounds like. You basically clear your calendar for a long weekend, you throw out the diapers from day one, and you just embrace the chaos. There will be accidents, a lot of them, but every single one is a chance to teach. It can be super fast for sure. But man, it takes a massive commitment and a whole lot of zen. And I love this parent's take on it because it's so true. Calling it the 3-day method is pretty misleading. It's not some magic wand you wave and poof, you're done by Monday. It's much better to think of it like they said. It's the formal kickoff. It's the starting gun for a process that's still going to take weeks, maybe even months, to really nail down. So no matter which path you go down, you're going to need to keep your kid motivated. And that brings us to the big, thorny question of rewards. Is it okay? Is it bribery? Can you actually motivate your kid without it feeling like you're just manipulating them? Well, the experts say absolutely, yes. So what's the actual difference between a reward and a bribe? It's actually super simple. A reward comes after they do the right thing. It's a prize for a job well done. A bribe is what you offer in the middle of a tantrum to make the bad thing stop. See the difference?
With potty training, we are firmly 100% in the reward business. So what kind of rewards are we talking about? Honestly, a lot of the time, you don't need anything fancy. Big, enthusiastic praise, a high five, a special potty dance that you only do for successes, that can be enough. If you feel like you need a little extra oomph, you can move on to small, tangible things. A sticker on a chart, a single M&M. The key is that it happens right away, as a prize for what they just did.
Okay, let's get real for a second. It would be amazing if this was just a straight shot to success, but that's almost never how it works. There will be accidents. There will be setbacks. Regressions are a totally, completely normal part of this. The most important thing is how you handle it when it happens. So, why does a kid who is doing great suddenly start having accidents again? It's almost always about big feelings or big changes. Look at this list. A new baby comes along, you move to a new house, there's stress in the family, even just their imagination running wild, and suddenly they're scared of the toilet. All of these things can throw them for a loop. Figuring out what's going on underneath is the first step to helping them through it. But what about, and this is one of the most stressful things a parent can go through, what do you do when they start hiding it? You find wet pants stuffed behind a sofa, or they look you right in the eye and swear they're dry when you know they're not. What on earth is going on there?
Okay, deep breath. This isn't your kid being defiant. It's shame. They know they weren't supposed to have an accident, they feel bad about it, and they just don't know what to do. So the American Academy of Pediatrics says, whatever you do, don't punish them. Instead, you calmly and gently say, I see you had an accident, that's okay. And then, this part is really important, you have them help you clean it up. Not as a punishment, just as a matter of fact, this is what we do when there's a mess.
And here's an amazing, game-changing tip that a parent shared online. It came from a specialist nurse. If your kid is fighting you about sitting on the potty or they seem like they're trying to hold it all in, have them blow bubbles while they sit there. Seriously, it's fun, it's a distraction, but get this. The physical act of blowing out actually helps relax the exact muscles they need to use to go. How smart is that? It's genius. Okay, so once you feel like you've got daytime pretty much under control, you unlock the next level, nighttime. So let's talk about what that really means and how we can support every kid through this next phase.
Okay, this timeline right here is maybe one of the most important things to see because it's all about managing expectations. Nighttime dryness is a completely different animal than daytime training. It is not about skill or willpower. It's about biology. It's a physical thing that happens when their brain develops enough to send out a hormone that tells their kidneys to slow down at night. And as you can see, that might not fully kick in until they're 4, 5, or even older. It's not something you can rush.
You know, every single kid learns in their own way, and what's really interesting is that some of the absolute best strategies out there actually come from resources developed for autistic kids. But these tips can work for any child. Things like using a simple picture chart to show the steps, or thinking about sensory stuff, like if the flush is super loud and scary, maybe offer them some headphones. These little adjustments can make a world of difference for any toddler who's feeling a bit overwhelmed. So, when you take a step back and look at the whole big picture, if you remember just one thing from all this, let it be this: patience over pressure and readiness over age. That's it. That's the whole philosophy.
And that really leaves us with a final question to ask ourselves. It's so easy to get caught up in asking, how can I train my kid faster? How can we just get this done? But what if we completely reframed it? What if instead we asked, how can I be the best possible support for my child on their timeline, on their unique journey? Because changing your goal from speed to support, that can change everything.